Hello and welcome to Demonic Discussions. I'm Meghan along with my co-hosts Mariana, Sam, and Erin. Mariana, what have we got today?
Today we're going to be talking about Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez was born Ricardo Leva Munoz Ramirez on February 29, 1960 in El Paso, Texas, to Mercedes and Julian Ramirez. They were two Mexican immigrants.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop you there right there.
Mercedes?
Like the car?
Yes. People name their kids Mercedes.
Hey, you've never heard of anybody named Mercedes before?
No?
It was in a book once, and that was the first time I ever heard somebody be named Mercedes. I was like, weird flex, but okay. As a young child, Ramirez sustained multiple head injuries and eventually got diagnosed with epilepsy. I just want to say, as I read through, his younger years, I completely understand how he ended up doing this. Killing all these people. Because he had a really, really messed up childhood. Ramirez was strongly influenced by his elder cousin Miguel, who had recently returned from fighting the Vietnam War. The two smoked weed together as Miguel told Ramirez of how he tortured several Vietnamese women, and with said stories came photo evidence. So, imagine this young child being shown, people torturing people. No.
I don't do it.
And when Ramirez was 13, he watched Miguel murder his wife. So, he'd seen some
he really
things.
had no chance.
Honestly. After dropping out of the 9th grade, Ramirez first got arrested for a weed charge. Then he moved to California, where he became addicted to cocaine and began robbing people. And he also took an interest in Satanism. Not to be confused with sadism, complete different thing. He was then arrested in Los Angeles twice for auto theft. So yeah, he had an interesting start. Ramirez's first victim was 79-year-old Jenny Vincal, whom he sexually assaulted and then stabbed during a burglary in 1984. Then in March of 1985, he attacked Maria Hernandez, who escaped, and then he killed her roommate, Dale Okazaki? I don't think I said that right, but close. Later the same day, Ramirez shot and killed Sailian Yu. 10 years later, he murdered Vincent and Maxine Zazara, following his odd pattern of killing the husband first and then assaulting and stabbing the wife. He had also gouged Maxine's eyes out, which is really sick. Next, Ramirez murdered William and Lily Doy in May 1985. Within the next few months, he claimed another dozen victims, usually at night, giving him the title of Night Stalker. On Ramirez's final night of terror in 1985, he raped a woman in her home and shot her fiancé. Little did he know, he not only left a footprint, but a witness logged a description of his car and his license plate. And he left the woman alive, so she identified him. Stupid. His abandoned car was found shortly after, with enough fingerprints to match him to it. Finally, he was captured after being badly beaten by some LA residents after he failed attempting 2 carjackings. So he's not even a decent criminal. It's like, he gets no stars on Yelp. His trial was constantly pushed back due to the odd locations of his crimes. There were so many places that he murdered people, they had a hard time trying to, stick him to it. Because although there was evidence saying he did it, it was, kind of weird that, because it was more of a, how could he have been here at the time he was also here? In the end, a few of his charges actually ended up being dropped, so they could finally move on with the court proceedings. The jury selection process finally began in 1988, and the real trial began in January of 1989. During that time, Ramirez gained a satanic cult-like following, sort of like Kevin. There was another delay when a juror was found murdered in August of 1989. What were you saying?
Kevin hasn't actually looked that week.
Although there were rumors that Ramirez had orchestrated the murder of the juror, there was no actual proof to tie him to it. Finally, on September 20th, 1989, he was charged with 13 counts of murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, 11 counts of sexual assault, and 14 counts of burglary. 2 weeks later, he was recommended for the death penalty, 19 counts. He was formally sentenced to death on November 1989 by gas chamber. While in jail, Ramirez married one of his followers, 41-year-old Doreen Loy.
Getting married in jail?
Apparently. Now, I remember when I was reading this, I figured out how old he was between, like, ages blank and blank. She was, like, a good at least 5 years older than him. He must have been desperate. In 1996, his appeal finally reached the California Supreme Court, and, well, obviously was rejected. And then in 2009, DNA linked Ramirez to the rape and murder of a 9-year-old girl in San Francisco. Finally, after nearly 24 years on death row, Ramirez died on June 7, 2013 from complications related to B-cell lymphoma.
He didn't really have a chance in childhood, did he?
No. I feel like instead of rating these people on the spooky scale, we should rate them on the serial killer scale. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serial killer are they? Alright, let's rate the Night Stalker on the serial killer scale.
I'm gonna give him a 5. He had some issues, but he also isn't the one that worries me. You know what I found interesting?
Hmm?
Maybe it's just because everyone's been talking about Avatar.
Oh no.
The whole thing with the police, like, not figuring it out because he was, like, in so many locations at once, that just made me think of Zuko saying the Avatar is a master of evasion or something, and it just cuts to the gang, and Sokka's just like, you don't know where you're going, do you? And Aang's like, well, I know it's my water. It's the only thing I could think of.
I love that. I love
We
Tyson.
just talk about how Zuko fully thought that the Avatar was really over 100 and would just be like this old man, and he was so ready to fucking take him.
And then it's just like this kid.
It's just like this.
Coming up to you, being like, "What's up? I have no depth perception, and I'm ready to fight God."
I don't know. I rate him pretty high only because of how he started off. Like, a lot of these serial killers have very bizarre pasts. But I think, like, the worse your childhood is, like, the worse you're going to grow up. So,
he didn't stand a chance.
I'd give him a good, like, 6 or 7, only because he got a hold of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Erin?
Erin's bored.
Got Erin. Alright, well, as we come to... Oh.
You said September 20th, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was rating women when we should have been rating the aliens.
Do you remember the 21st night of September? Oh, we're sick human beings.
Hey, we were in sync on my end.
I think we were in sync on my end. Erin, it's just you.
Don't take attention.
Alright, well, as the video comes to a close, you will find in the description the channel's Instagram and Twitter, along with all of our personal Instagrams, and a link to our podcast, The Tea House, which will hopefully one day have some episodes out. Anything else?
Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe if you want to. I do highly suggest it, though. We post content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
So ring the bell.
That's right, don't forget
Notification.
that bell.
Do it. Do it, you whoa.
Do it.
Pussy.
You don't have the balls! Alright.
What cowards?
I guess
Let's do the Kevin stream outro. Bye 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 bye. Bye.